Being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the Township website. I ask you all to please rise and ask Committeeman Huber to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask that you all please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those who serve our country both near and not so near. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Capides.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Present.
Committeeman Huber. Present. Committeeman Laufer.
Present.
And Committeeman Weber.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Proclamations and announcements, just a reminder to all residents, we spoke about this last meeting, but during the entire month of April, DPW crews will be canvassing the township in the garage packer truck for vegetative waste. Branches 4 inches in diameter and smaller, leaves and grass will be collected. Please note, material must be placed in recyclable bags or cans. Loose debris in roadway will not be picked up. Please also, if you have a chance, to review the residents 55 and better May activities calendar. They always have events and activities going on. Another announcement, food truck festival presented by the Rotary Club of Springfield. Community pool parking lot, Sunday, May 7th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., $5 per person. Children under 5 free. Beer and wine garden, 50-50 raffle, and live entertainment. The township mourns the loss of and extends condolences to the family and friends of retired Springfield Police Officer Robert Rosner, who passed away on Monday, April 17th, at age 89. I have asked Committeeman Chris Weber to read a statement on Officer Rosner on behalf of Chief Cook.
Retired Springfield Police Officer Robert Rosner passed away on Monday, April 17th, at the age of 89. Bob had served in the U.S. Army as a private first class from October 1955, being honorably discharged in October of 1957. On November 1st, 1958, Bob was hired as a probationary officer for the Springfield Police Department, joining his 2 brothers already on the force, Joseph and Edward, and had retired in October of 1984. During his career, Officer Rosner was recognized and commended for saving the life of an individual in 1971 when he entered a burning business to pull a victim out who would have perished otherwise. Bob was the recipient of the Union County 200 Club Medal of Valor 1981 for his work in the capture of an armed burglary suspect. Officer Rosner received a Bachelor of Arts degree from Kane College, February of 1977. Bob was a member of the New Jersey Narcotics Officers Association, had served in the PBA positions as treasurer and president, and was a member of the Springfield Elks and Knights of Columbus. And Chief Cook and the Springfield Police Department wish their condolences to their family.
Thank you, as well as the entire Township Committee and Springfield community. We are honored to have with us Jerry Ann Kazmar, the past exalted ruler of Springfield Hillside Elks Lodge 2004. We have 2 things for her tonight. The first is it's an honor for me to present this proclamation to you for Elks Youth Week. I'm just going to read this proclamation, and then you could talk about Memorial Day.
Great.
Excellent. So whereas the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks have designated the first week in May as Youth Week to honor America's junior citizens for their accomplishments and to give fitting recognition of the services to community, state, and nation. Whereas Springfield Hillside Lodge 2004 will sponsor an observance during that week in tribute to the junior citizens of this community, and whereas no event could be more deserving of our support and participation than one dedicated to these young people who represent the nation's greatest resource and who in the years ahead will assume the responsibility for the advancement of our free society. And whereas our youth need the guidance, inspiration, and encouragement which we alone can give in order to help develop those quality of character essential for future leadership and go forth to serve America. And whereas to achieve this worthy objective, we should demonstrate our partnership with youth, our understanding of their hopes and aspirations, and sincere willingness to help prepare them in every way for the responsibilities and opportunities of citizenship. Now, therefore, I, Christopher Capides, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim the first week in May as Youth Week and urge all departments of government, civic, fraternal, and patriotic groups, and our citizens generally to participate wholeheartedly in its observance, and we have affixed the seal and my signature. And it's a pleasure for me to present this to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Please.
Thank you very much. So again, my name is Jerry Ann Casmore. I accept this on behalf of our exalted ruler, John Kretschmer, and on behalf of all the Elks. We are a fraternal organization. We are very interested. There's a couple of things we do, if I can just plug it real quick, because it's really apropos for all of it. We will be there for our veterans. No veteran is left behind. So Memorial Day is a big day for us, Flag Day, Veterans Day. Our children, we do special children's. We have a camp up in Haskell, New Jersey. It's the state major project is Elks Camp Moore, and that we provide a week's vacation for a special needs child. Every month we can try to do that. We actually have 3, I think, that are going this. We're sponsoring three children this year. We also are the second largest giver of scholarships in the nation under the federal government. So most people don't know that. I didn't know that, so it's a really cool thing. We just had an Americanism contest, which was fantastic. We had, I think there was 50 kids that did it. So that's for the Elks. So again, thank you very much. And again, Bob Rosner was a longtime member, so condolences for Nettie as well. So the Veterans Day, the Memorial Day rather. So Memorial Day, we will have a parade. We will start, the ceremony starts at 10 a.m. Again, I will ask if any organization out there would like to provide a float. I love floats. It would be awesome if we could have it. I keep asking, nobody's taking me up on it. We're gonna start at Veterans Park on Shunpike and Mountain. That's at 10 a.m. The Kane University trolleys will be here for people that can't walk the parade route. And the Elks are, again, providing a hot dog and water at the end of the parade route. And we're looking to, I'm sure we'll be able to get a little exhibition for for a ball game at there as well. So we invite everybody to come out. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day to honor our veterans. And we hope to see everybody there. Thank you very much. And thank you again for this.
And thank you, and on behalf of the Township Committee, all of us here, the work that you do for Memorial Day is just absolutely outstanding, and please continue the good work and know that you have our complete support.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, moving on. Public comment on agenda items only. Anyone from the public wishing to comment on any agenda items, please come forward. State your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee will then respond if applicable. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to reports. Good evening, Mr. Pasicolo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Just quickly, I wanted to add to the vegetative waste. If you happen to miss it, you can always take it up to 44 Morrison Road at the recycling center for the remainder of the year. That's always open. You're going to see another round of roadside tree planting over the next 2 weeks. This is our annual Greening Union County Matching Grant. Curbside trees may be requested by calling the Department of Public Works or through our website. We are working on the parks. We are also still at the pool, trying to get that ready to be opened. All of our DPW employees just completed their annual POSHA mandated safety training. That is provided in-house through our insurance broker. I want to touch quickly on our developments that are going on. First of all, on the Church Mall development, if you've been down there, both of the buildings, Sarah Bailey and the church, are now gone. And the new Academy Green Road is Belgian blocked out and ready to go, so we're making progress there. On the Saks project, that's moving along very well. In fact, I understand they're advertising right now for rentals. So if you're interested in renting, I think the townhomes are ready to go. We got to find out. I asked Beth if she knew the number. Okay. Let's go to Gomes, because that's the one that we've had the most work on, and actually we're making pretty good progress. We meet once a week on a Monday, and that's attended by our redevelopment attorney, our engineer, our zoning officer, our DPW director, myself, and our construction official. From their side are the two owners and their attorney. We walk the property every Monday. We discuss what needs to be done, what's just been completed. Oh, and I should mention our construction consultant is there on site with us every week. Where we are now, on Monday, they just put down 350 cubic yards of cement on the Caldwell side in the basement. So that's been finished. Along Caldwell also, they backfilled up against the foundation. And this morning they had turned the corner and they were backfilling on Morris Avenue. So hopefully we're trying to get that sidewalk completely opened. We were waiting for Verizon to come out today. I did not see them. They were supposed to come out and look at the poles on Morris Avenue. I did not see them, but Robbie's been in touch with them. So I'll keep you abreast of what goes on there, because we're concerned about some of those poles that are there. I did want to also mention that we're still seeing interest from developers in town, which is a great sign. They're still interested in Springfield, which is tremendous. We have 3 potential right now that I have meetings with over the next week or two. So as soon as I can bring something to you, keep you abreast, I will. Other than that, I wanted to make this relatively short because we got a long meeting tonight. So if there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions or comments? The, Mr. Costello. his
Yes.
bill, that is not a cost for us.
That comes out of escrow,
Okay,
as does our redevelopment attorney.
okay. And again, we've been pushing out, the township has been pushing out updates at least once a month, probably more than once a month. And as Mr. Basicolo said, there is a lot of action going on at the site right now, but unfortunately, with the fence, you can't see it. But when this work is done, the fences will be adjusted, and it is our hope that there will be more and more people on that site as the weeks and months continued. And again, I have instructed Mr. Basicolo and our other teams from the Township of Springfield to visit them every week, and to also keep tabs with the Township redevelopment attorney to make sure that they're doing everything that they can to get this project completed.
Can I add a couple quick things? I forgot. The salon that's on site, the house, will be down within 60 days. And I'm sure everybody's got concern with the lumber that's been put up on the second floor. They've got to address that. We need a letter from either an engineer or the manufacturer that that lumber's still viable. If not, it's gonna have to come down. They're gonna have to start over. And I did want to make one comment on our construction manager that we've hired, just so people understand. The reason that we did that is because that's not our expertise. He's looking at that and he's telling us if what they're proposing is logical, is he doing it in a manner that makes sense? He's also trying to put a kind of tentative schedule together as they would do it, just to make sure that we get something on that we can look at and we have some confidence in. So it's just kind of a real checklist against what we're getting from the other side. So that was the reason for doing that, and I think it's been well worth it, quite frankly.
You're telling me that you, in addition to being an expert on municipal government, do not know how construction sites work?
I didn't say that I don't know how they work, but again, I'd like to have somebody that's got a little more expertise in that.
No,
Bill's been in construction with
that's
Epic for 40 years, so.
It's certainly a wise investment that will go a long way in getting this project on track and helping us.
No doubt.
Find the issues earlier and hold them accountable.
And again, I mean, you know, we're nowhere as close, but we've got more done in the past 2 weeks than we have in the past 9 or 10 months. So we're hoping that it's going in the right direction.
Thank you again for all your efforts. Not at this time. No, we have to wait to the end. Sorry. Minutes and reports, everyone has received them, either hard copy or email. New business, we have several ordinances for second reading and also for first. So, Madam Clerk, can you read the ordinance by title?
Yes. Ordinance 2023-08. This ordinance is to establish a cap bank for the calendar year 2023 pursuant to NJSA 48:4-45.14.
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-08 as read by Madam Clerk with publication in the local source on May 4th, 2023.
Second.
We're going to have a public hearing on ordinance 2023-08. If anyone would like to come and speak on this ordinance, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee will respond if applicable. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this ordinance and ask for a roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer. Yes. Committeeman Weber. Yes. Mayor Kapides.
Yes.
Okay, Ordinance 2023-09. This ordinance amends the Township Code at Chapter 7 to modify and supplement the township's traffic regulations regarding streets where parking is prohibited at all times.
Have a motion?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-09, as read by Madam Clerk, publicized in the local source on May 4th, 2023.
Second.
We're now, I will open the public hearing on ordinance 2023-09. Anyone from the public wishing to be heard on this ordinance, please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee will respond if applicable. Seeing none, I wish to close the public hearing portion of this ordinance and ask for a roll call, please.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Mayor Kapides.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-10. This ordinance amends the Township Code to adopt a new flood plan management regulations in accordance with updated guidance from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like motion to ordinance 2023-10 as read by Madam Clerk with publication in local source May 4th, 2023.
Second.
At this time, I'd like to open ordinance 2023-10 to public hearing. Anyone wish to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee will respond. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this ordinance and ask for a roll call.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Kapides.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-11. This ordinance amends the township's land use code to reflect the new flood plan management regulations, which are implemented in accordance with updated guidance from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection.
Mr. Mayor, as read by Madam Clerk, ordinance 2023-11 to be in publication in a local source May 4th, 2023.
Second.
At this time, I'd like to open ordinance 2023-11 to public hearing. Anyone wish to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 4 minutes to speak, after which the Township Committee will respond. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this ordinance and ask for a roll call, please.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Kapides.
Yes.
Okay, and the next ordinances are for first reading. Ordinance 2023-12. This ordinance amends provisions of the Township Code with respect to the positions of Assistant Recycling Coordinator and Clean Communities Coordinator.
I will make a motion to adopt Ordinance 2023-12 as read by Madam Clerk, with publication in the local source on May 4th, 2023, with a final hearing on May 23rd, 2023.
Second.
Is there any discussion up here?
No.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Kapides.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-13. This ordinance amends the existing ordinances governing certain employment positions to establish a compensation wage for the position of Clean Communities Coordinator within the Township of Springfield.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-13 as read by Madam Clerk, with publication in the local source on May 4th, 2023, with a final hearing set on May 23rd, 2023.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion up here?
Now, this is a pretty self-explanatory, like last time, like the other ordinance.
Understood. Still want to ask the question. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yep.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Kapides.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2023-14. This ordinance amends the provisions of the Township Code regarding health benefits for township employees.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-14 as read by Madam Clerk, with publication in the local source on May 4th, 2023, with a final hearing on May 23rd, 2023. I will have that line seared into my brain all night now.
Second.
Any discussion up here about this? Excellent. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yep.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Kapides.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Deputy Mayor Kaiser, Committeeman Huber, and our own Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Sherry, to go over the municipal budget. I know that our Deputy Mayor has spent a lot of time on this. He has been the chair of the Finance Committee, I believe, every year. He really does a good job with this. He really into presenting and sharing the information, and I respectfully turn it over to him.
Since it's a little easier to discuss down here. Just to see the television, and I think as Diane readies it, I can kind of start. So everybody kind of welcome to, of course, the Springfield Township 2023 budget presentation. Like the mayor discussed, this year's Finance Committee was comprised of myself once again as the chairman, but a little differently. Instead of Committeeman Weber, who I miss, I did get an even better committeeman, Committeeman Huber. So both myself and Committeeman Huber got to work, of course, closely along with the mayor on this year's budget, and with our CFO, Diane Sherry, our business administrator, John Bisicolo, and of course, all the department heads. So huge thanks, first off, to them. They put in a lot of hard work on what was, of course, an extremely difficult budget and year to manage. I think everybody knows a budget's the setting of your priorities, and I think this budget meets our priorities, but it was certainly one of the more difficult ones that I worked on with John and Diane and Rich, largely due to inflation. We know inflation is a huge challenge right now, and in not only our country, but the entire world, and that not only hits every taxpayer's pocketbook at home, but it also affects your municipal government. Costs go up, means we have to spend more for all the services that we provide. But we had a few simple goals. One, meet that challenge and that inflationary challenge and work within that framework. But also, we wanted to maintain services without drastic cuts to the residents for services that you all pay for. We wanted to make sure that we're trying to maintain them to the best of our ability. And also, we weren't about to sell out our future for short-term gain. So we wanted to continue to make investments and make smart financial decisions for our future. This year's total budget, of course, is a little over $42.8 million. And that's a fairly large municipal budget for a fairly large town that we get to manage. So instead of running through past years, we ran through each department. I think it's more, we know what the challenges are, and I think it's better to just kind of discuss the challenges, and then, hey, what we've kind of done to invest in the future and kind of decrease that burden. So we had a number of challenges, right, as I said, due to inflation. A lot of these that we'll term bad news for the town are things that we, as a township committee, have little to no control over. Now, that's not me passing the buck and saying, hey, it's what it is, I have no control, but it's setting an expectation. These are bills that we had to pay. We have to provide a trash pickup. We can't cut that for our residents. We have to make sure your sewer flows when you flush the toilet. But all those issues, we have to make sure that police and fire respond when you call 911. All that takes money to fund. And certainly with that, everything raised. For one, I know the mayor has been pointing out multiple times this year, solid waste collection from both our vendor that picks up the trash to our tipping fees. We're large increases this year. That's due, A, they need more money for manpower, they need more money for fuel. Their costs went up when they go and dump the trash. That all gets passed on to us and then ultimately the taxpayer. Those were large increases. We had increases for both our pension contribution, our health contributions, our workers' comp this year. These were large increases of 21%, 20%, 14%. These were large increases that we had to take on as a township. For instance, your sewer. Usually we're part of a Rawway River Sewage Authority. Normally it's a minor 1 to 2% increase. This year we faced an increase of 6.6%. That's a drastic increase and a burden that we had to take all on at once to almost $200,000 that we had to account for. All of the things that I mentioned, all these challenges, accounted for about 5% of the total budget. So it was a large increase in 1 year that we had to make up. Another challenge that we inevitably faced was from the tax revaluation last year. Everybody has a right, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, or take, for instance, apartment buildings, have a right to an appeal or their evaluation. The apartments felt that they were, a large amount of them, thought they were overvalued. And they took up on their right and they challenged, and that's been a challenge to all the taxpayers to make that difference up. So those are some of the bad news or some of the challenges that we had to face this year that led to a challenging budget year. But what were we not going to do? We weren't going to drastically cut services. We made some, right? Trash collection, we weren't going to eliminate. We decided not to eliminate summer collection, but we condensed the amount of bulk pickups this year to try to have some cost savings, right? So it's those kind of smart things that we maintained our services. Thankfully, we weren't going to sell out. We made a commitment, I believe all of us a number of years ago, to make sure that we're paying down our debt. These are bills that we incurred, whether it's pool house, turf field, whether it's ordinances from past year for road improvements or purchasing of equipment. We have to pay those bills. We weren't going to go long-term financing, so we decided to rev up those payments and pay it down. And hopefully, whether I'm assuming that we all pass this budget here tonight, next week sometime, we're going to pay down a approximately $3.2 million in debt. That's a smart move to make. It makes sure that we're not going to permanent financing, which will cost us $100,000 something plus dollars in the long run in legal fees and interest. It's better to pay it off now, make sure that we're not kicking the can down the road. So that's good spending, that $3.2 million. We all know the pool had a deficit every year. It hasn't been self-sufficient. Well, we made sure, and between John and me, whether it's John bringing in school buses that you might see parked there in the off-season, that's revenue that we're able to use to decrease that burden. Or it's Wonder Trucks, when they were a company servicing that parked their vehicles here. That's all money and revenue that we gained that helped pay down that debt. Still a burden, though, right? We still have to pay off that pool house and other various improvements. But it's a commitment of this committee, and if we continue on the same track that we are on now, we're going to pay that off by 2028. That'll be a burden off our backs by then, but we need to make sure that we continue to make the payments now so it doesn't go to permanent financing that'll cost us 30-something years and be a burden to future township committees. That's a priority of mine, to not burden future individuals that sit up there. Some of the good news, if there are any. We sold Sarah Bailey last year. We executed an agreement, brought in about $2.4 million from that sale of Sarah Bailey. It's going to lead to a great future development, we hope. And it brought in $2.48 million to our town. We're using that to pay down the debt. We also generated a healthy surplus from years ago, thanks to smart financial decisions. We would have been in a very great shape if we didn't have this inflationary challenge that we're facing. We had a surplus to the tune of $5.8 million, thanks to the hard work of our CFO and business administrator and our township committee, making smart decisions that allowed us a healthy surplus that will offset some of these challenges going this year. It's things like reverse tax appeals that we decided, right? I talked about everybody has a right to an appeal their evaluation. Well, so does the township. A number of years ago, this township committee decided to take us up on that right and found certain undervalued properties, business properties, and went through a reverse appeal. Well, that brought in $2.1 million, right? That's part of that healthy surplus that we're using now to offset this year's tax increase to the best of our ability. And so everybody understands, right? Your tax bill is comprised of a bunch of different entities, right? And we're just one of them. And we know that. We're about roughly a third of your tax bill. The others being the local school district and, of course, the county. So it's roughly about 32 cents of every dollar you pay in taxes comes to us. And we're able to certainly provide those services, right? From public safety, of hopefully responding in a timely fashion when you call and need our services, providing excellent rec programs, and making sure that we're picking up the trash and making road improvements year after year. So we're roughly 1/3, but the tax rate that everybody's probably looking for on an average assessed home this year is going to be $458 for your municipal portion. And unfortunately, it's higher than normal, but for the challenges that we're currently facing, I think we, as a township committee, did do the best that we can, and making sure that we're not laying off public employees, that we're not having drastic service cuts that you all rely on, right? And that we wouldn't want to see happen. So we're trying to provide the best services that we can in the challenges that we are certainly facing. Committeeman Huber, do you have any remarks?
No, I mean, plus don't forget, we've increased the hookups of sewers, brought it up to there. That's extra money that we've been bringing in. We also, for trees and that, we've brought in money doing that. I mean, charging, with permits and things like that. We've done everything we can. I've been sitting up here for 13 years. This was the toughest budget I've ever seen. It's higher than we like, but it's a must of what we have to do. I agree with everything that Deputy Mayor has said. There's nothing else I could add to it.
Officially, though, if Deputy Mayor, if you would not mind making a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. At this time, I think it would be proper to open this up before you hear from us. Open it up to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to be heard, having any questions about the budget? Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on now to the Township Committee. Anyone up here have any comments, questions?
Make a comment.
Please.
So, this is my second meeting, and I read through all the budget documents, and I want to commend Deputy Mayor Kaiser, Committeeman Huber on what was a tough budget. My only thought is, and I guess this is a CFO and Township Administrator question, have we explored grant writing services? I mean, I know they work on contingencies, or some of them do, so maybe that is an avenue to explore some possible relief. That's my comment question.
We had a grant writer, and we basically got no more out of that than we were getting on our own, quite frankly. We had 2 grant writers, thank you. But again, we're not opposed to it. If we find someone that is good, we'll certainly do that. We've asked, I think, Alex, I think you brought that up. We've asked the public if somebody would like to volunteer and help look and try to write some grants. We weren't successful in.
Sure. With an increase, I just want to make sure that there's a no stone unturned mentality.
As the deputy mayor said, I was privileged, with being able to work with him on the budget the last few years.
You can join again. We're going to sub me out.
Now, it is in other hands. Somebody has taken my place, Mr. Huber. Man, it was easy, right? I guess it was easy those few years in terms of keeping some savings going and so on versus what we face now. And I'll tell you, as a resident, well, it's never easy. It's never easy to pay everybody and keep everybody's, happy and keep all the services and so on. We sat in this room as every one of us being residents here and looked at, what affects everybody, because what affects you affects me. And affects Chris and Harris and Rich and Alex and Linda. It affects everybody. And I have to tell you, when it's all said and done, and I sit there and I look back at it, this is, considering what we were facing with, like the deputy mayor said, considering what we were facing with rate hikes and so on, this is a
fair budget.
Fair budget, yeah. It's really, it's good. And I'm content with it as a resident, and I'm content with it as a committee person who sits up here.
No budget is perfect, and while I think every year it certainly becomes more of a challenge, thankfully, you know, over the last few years, we built up a healthy surplus that helped us offset this. But once again, and I don't think I drove this point across when we did it, we're not the only one facing these challenges. Everybody at home is certainly facing these challenges, right? And you see that when you go to a grocery store at home, right? You see that prices increased. You see that your bills are increasing from all over, right? That's just what the current economy is. Our township is no different. Every township across the state is facing these same issues and trying their best, like we are, to offset it. So and that's not making an excuse, but just setting the stage for what we had to go through.
As far as I'm concerned, I appreciate and applaud the Budget Committee's efforts to prepare this budget presentation and this year's budget. As the Deputy Mayor alluded to, I have certainly referenced numerous non-discretionary township expenditures that the township had to endure. But as the Deputy Mayor said, this is not unlike any other township that surrounds us. And we were doing the best that we can, and I certainly applaud, in particular, Deputy Mayor Kaiser's efforts, working with his team and the CFO to put together a budget presentation that is clear, that is concise, and is, although it might be a little disheartening, it's certainly understood and received by us that this is where we are, and we appreciate his efforts. Anyone else? All right, then can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And then we have a separate resolution. Please, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2023-131. This resolution adopts the 2023 current budget for the Township of Springfield.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-131 as read by Madam Clerk.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber. Mayor Capides.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all. At this time, next on the agenda is the Springfield Community Partnership Budget. I would like to invite Mike Scalera and Beth Lippman to come forward. And after their presentation, I will open up to a public hearing.
So we'll just kind of start where I left off the last time.
Certainly, certainly.
So, yeah, so our budget for the bid assessments for the income is $358,019.42. We get about $1,000 in interest income, making our income $359,019.42. Administrative services are $50,000. Professional services, $4,500. Sorry. Let's see. Office operations are $7,100. That includes printing, insurance, telephone, office miscellaneous dues, subscriptions. Visual improvement is $742,644.26. And that's because we want to complete the final part of the streetscape that hadn't been done, which, by the way, part of the reason why we were waiting with that, because we were looking to see if we can get a grant for that, and we're not. I think it's been about 5 years, or maybe even longer in a row, that we had not received a grant for that. So at this point, we've decided that we really need to get it done. And like everything else that you've discussed, the costs, something that probably would have cost us maybe $150,000, $200,000 prior to this year has gone up to about $500,000 is the estimate we got for it. So everything has gone up significantly in cost in construction. And in order to get it done, we had $299,000 in our budget, and we needed to supplement it to make the cost to be able to do it, to finish it off this year. Debt service payment we have to the town right now is $80,000. Loan repayment would be $38,000 because we will need a loan to finish off for the difference between what we have. I think it was $249,000 we had in our budget.
Correct.
We had saved from the prior years. And contract services, $15,644.26, and that covers any contract services we need for going out to bid for construction management. Our promotion marketing is $120,000, which is our prime, which is very important. It's how we are trying to keep our businesses alive, how we're trying to get business in here, keeping them thriving. Our businesses love our marketing program. They love what we do for them. And so we put a lot of our money into that. You can see how it's broken down. $25,000 for e-commerce, which includes all of our emails. We do a lot of Facebook and Instagram posting. Advertising, marketing program, which is what we pay for the people who do our marketing. Public events, which we support a lot of the public events that happen during the year. We do our music during the summer, about $5,000, and printing for marketing is $7,500. So we do have contingency funds for $23,775.16. So our total expenditures would be $948,019.42. So I said streetscape money from new $350,000 bond and unspent prior years money. It's the $599,000 of that total. We have an unrestricted cash balance of $249,000, which I referenced we were saving to do the final project. New bond loan money would be $350,000. So that's kind of it this year. It's a tough year for everyone. Any questions?
Well,
Anything?
before we get to the presentation, before we get to the questions, I would need to formally ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Just before we go to the Township Committee, does anyone from the public have any comments? Please come forward to state your name and address. For the record, you'll have 4 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing no one from the public stepping forward, I would like to now bring this to the Township Committee.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, if I could, I do
Sure.
have a few questions to run through for you guys. And Beth and Mike, you do a great job and have been fairly dedicated to our town. So, I just want to understand a little bit better. So we'll just run through this together because I do have some questions. Can you just elaborate on the unrestricted cash balance on 12/31? I'm a little lost. How is that unrestricted? Where's that from?
That's the money we had that we were saving to do this streetscape project. So that's the money that's in our account left over from last year and prior years, actually.
Is that though from that original bond that we did in like 2018?
No, that bond was spent. That was the original streetscape we did.
All right, so
Yeah.
let me back up. Let me back up.
That's the $80,000 that we're paying back, but no, there's no leftover money.
There's no leftover money from that bond.
No.
We utilized
That
all
was,
that money for the streetscape project.
that ran down to almost Route 22 where Chayaki is.
So that unrestricted, what is that, like savings of,
Yeah,
if you
that's-
didn't spend all $4,500 on an attorney, you spent $2,500,
And
you
that's
saved
money-
that.
And that's money from not just last year, but from a lot of years accumulated to be able to do this project.
Okay.
And actually, that money is actually left over from money we put aside for the streetscape project. Every year, we put it into our budget. So every year, it wasn't spent because we didn't do it, and that was the money put aside for that. We were hoping that $250,000 would cover the whole thing, but didn't this year. It shocked us.
So, hey, let me back up. So in 2018, we bonded $715,000. What were you able to accomplish in that?
We did the whole left side, or let me
No, both sides of
Both
Mountain
sides.
Avenue, all the way down to Route 22.
Choppies, across the street from Choppies, and then we did where TD Pizza is, that whole side there, that was the 700,000.
So round all the way down, both sides to Mountain Avenue. I mean, to Route 22.
Correct.
So we wanted to complete the whole thing, but that portion was left off.
Because we didn't have
At
enough
that
money, so
time.
we were saving money every year.
So what's,
Because we thought that would be a smaller project and we'd be able to put aside the money to do it.
okay, so this, that you're asking us to bond, this 350,000 plus basically the 250,000, what plan is that? Where is that vision and where would that be the streetscape?
That plan is from where basically the post office, Welsh Farms, going up across the street where Gary Heck's
Gary Heck's
office.
offices,
And finishing off that part up until the municipal property.
and also where Hammer, that section
Okay.
around the corner, because they removed the trees there and everything, so we
Which
were
we,
able to
which we really
incorporate that.
left off because we were hoping that it would be part of a big grant that you were trying, the town was trying to get. For many years, that was the municipal property, the library, and that part of it.
And just, this year you decided to go about an increase in your assessment, correct?
Yeah, that's so we could, if we get the bond for 350,000, we have to be able to pay it off.
Yeah, we can complete the project, because the project's over $500,000, and we have saved 250.
No, maybe I'm a little too dumb. The tiers, I'm unsure about the tiers, but on an average business in town, how much are they paying yearly?
Probably around, I'm gonna say about 600, 700.
700. Was that last year, or is that what we're anticipating this year?
You're probably anticipating that this year. It's probably about 500 or change last year.
And just going, the bid, they're all respected volunteers for sure, right? They're contributing to society, to our town, and I know how hard it is to apathy, right, in all of this, on both the local level and the business. How does somebody go about getting on the bid if they are interested in being part of the board and being kind of rendered
Every
direction?
year around October, I send out nomination forms. The people who vote, actually, or the people who are assessed are the property owners, the commercial property owners. So they get a nomination form every year, and they can nominate someone to be on the bid, depending on how many positions are open. Every year, we have either 2 or 3 positions open. I think this past year, we might have had 4. So then, once I get the nominations, we put out a ballot, which includes the incumbents that are present if they want to stay on, and anybody who's been nominated. And then they vote through mail, which goes to Linda every year. The votes go in, and then we count up who wins, and that's who gets onto the board.
Over the past, it's been about 10 years, right, Mike, since you started?
12 years.
12 years, that's pretty
And
good.
it was, 2011 we started.
What's, over those 12 years, has anybody new gotten on the board over the years?
Oh, yeah, we've changed
Oh, yeah.
throughout the years,
Matter of
yeah.
fact, we just changed. This year, we got 3 new members.
3 new members this year.
So where I'm headed is, how do the members feel about the tax increase? How do the members feel about the bid in general? Are businesses happy?
Businesses are
With
very
what
happy.
they're
The
getting out of it?
Businesses are very happy because they're seeing us through the marketing and that we're out there trying to help them. We give them marketing advice, we work with them, we try to help them that way. So businesses are very happy out there. The property owners, remember, we have 3 large property owners on our board. That includes Baltusrol, that's Autoland, and they're going to be paying the most into this, by the way, and they voted for
And
it.
they're on
That's the
our
thing
board,
about
and they-
a business improvement
They-
district, is that the people who are paying it, just like a town, the people who are paying it are the ones who get to vote.
Oh, I don't disagree, but the Baltusrol and Autos land aren't going anywhere. They're able to take the hit. I'm just wondering, do you ever do surveys of the members, and I'm saying the business owners, to get a better sense of what they would like to see? I mean, you're telling me, like, hey, they're happy, but so are the residents, right? They're happy, right? I can tell that all day long, but unless I'm going door to door and hearing it directly from them, I don't,
We haven't done a
Sometimes-
survey in a while, but But honestly, we have not heard, I don't know if you have, but we've not heard anyone complain at all. And see, it's the property owners that are actually paying it. Do the business pay? Yes, because in their leases, I'm sure it gets passed down somehow. But the businesses that we've been talking to, and we're out there all the time talking to them, they're happy. They're happy to have someone out there that they can talk to, someone out there representing them, because a lot of the businesses, remember, are not residents in town. So this is a vehicle for them as well to be represented. And yes, we have not heard anything. And the fact that we have a lot of property owners on our board who basically are the ones who supported it and said, yes, let's go for it, which I wasn't sure they were going to, but they did.
Okay, so, it's been a number of years since you've increased the assessment, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I don't think.
Never.
we
I don't
did.
think we ever,
So
And we
knowing,
had to deal with the reval, by the way, too, because when the reval happened and all the prices went up, we had to lower our rate to keep it at our, around 300,000 more.
so, hey, knowing, we all have priorities, right? I just went through it, right? We all have priorities and goals that we want to do. In this current economic climate, I would be a bit worried to increase that on our businesses, and maybe they're not so concerned. Maybe they're hopefully all doing well, but I would be a little concerned just sitting up here from that perspective, and would just be wondering, what's some feedback from them. So I would hope, and I'm asking you for this, if we can get some kind of data, physical data, rather than just by word of mouth, how members are feeling or what direction they want. So maybe you guys consider doing a survey of some sort of the businesses. I would ask that.
I would say the reason, I'm sorry.
No, go.
Probably the reason for the increase is, again, to complete the streetscape. That was the main,
Right.
otherwise,
That
if we
is-
weren't doing the streetscape,
Right.
then we probably wouldn't be asking for it, so. that's-
That's fair enough. Transitioning a bit. You have a budget for maintaining visual aspects, right?
Yes, we do.
You know where I'm going with this. We have a couple of things. We have a downtown, right, Morris Avenue. You guys did great work last time, when the buildings were still up, right, by Gomes, and you did the window, like, the future coming, the wraps. Are we able, our Morris Ave, and I think everybody would be in the same position, hey, can we do a little bit more on just some small things to visually improve that downtown?
Yeah, we were looking at the facades, doing grant for the facades, maybe, putting some money out there, but again,
Well, I think kind of Morris Avenue is a separate entity in a way right now, what's going on there. So even if we were to do grants for facades, really, Morris Avenue, the buildings need a lot more than just facades right now. They need a lot of redevelopment going on there.
Okay, so how about we go for something even simpler?
We could do.
The potted plants on Mountain Avenue. I'm looking at dead trees and debris in there that's been sitting since the spring, and I have photos. Can we have a little bit of budget, can we kind of maybe hire a landscaper to kind of take care of it?
Landscaper that does the pots on Mountain Avenue, but if you want, we could probably add some pots on
If you can,
Morris.
through the chair, and if we can follow up with that, I would love to see if you guys have a landscaper and have contracted with one, because let me tell you, I think those potted plants have sat there dead for a while, so that landscaper's certainly not doing his job if you guys are partnering with somebody.
Again now this spring, once planting season starts in May.
Okay, so, through the chair, maybe we can follow up with more written responses to kind of flush some of this stuff out. On e-commerce, guys, you're spending, I want to say like nearly $70,000 on Facebook marketing. Do we have,
Not just Facebook.
well, would
On
the
marketing.
events.
We do all the events that try to drive traffic into the businesses. We have the gift card program, that they're very successful with.
do we have concrete data that you can show us on people, like I want to call it like almost a return on investment kind of Do we have data that
Do
we
you
can
want
prove?
analytics?
Yeah,
Okay, from all Facebook and everything?
Facebook, you know, the app, you know, to show that, people are using it. You know, I hear, I think the app, talking to other towns, some towns it's done wonderful, and some towns it hasn't. So I'm just
We
wondering,
do the analytics every single
Every
month.
month.
Every month we have our meeting.
and then we're seeing more people participate.
Yeah, it's funny with the app that we get about, and this has been from the time we started, we get 40 people, new people a month. It seems to be the number, 40 people a month about on the app. We have thousands on it now by this time, but we can get to the numbers. Facebook, we are reaching thousands. We do a lot of promoted posts. So we're doing, well, but we can get you the information.
I mean, you know, I would just be curious, you know.
And the ROI on the gift card program, that's hard to measure, but they're selling out all the gift cards. They're able to sell 50 gift cards per business. They're selling them out. So that's telling us that people are going there, but we're also guessing, they can't give us the information, that people are coming back, repeat customers, spending more money than the.
And they're getting a lot of new customers through the gift
Yeah.
card program,
So
too.
it's
that
hard
we
on
can-
that end of it to do an ROI on it, unless the company, one of the businesses was like, look, I did a complete return on investment, but they don't know when they're coming back and everything, and spending more money.
And hey, trust me, last question, and I have a few more. I don't want to belabor this anymore, and maybe we can do it through more written, you know, offline. But guys, I, as mayor, met with you a year ago, right? Over a year ago.
Yeah.
We sat in that back room, and I said, I love your presentation. I love that you're here every year, and you run through it. But I'll be honest, I told you that I could repeat it word for word every year, because it's the same thing. I asked specifically last year to kind of do something different, to kind of give us a vision, to show which direction, some new ideas that you're planning to do. You didn't do it last year. You didn't do it this year. To say that I'm frustrated would be an understatement. I'm asking for something a little different. I know it's great that you're here and presenting and you can read numbers, but frankly, I could have read those numbers and could have gotten the same thing. I'm asking very succinctly, put together a vision. What is your plan? I know what you've done in the past. I know you've done the gift cards, you've done some community events, and they're all great, but what is our vision going forward? What are we getting return on investment? Give me something that's a little meatier than running through the numbers, because if that's frankly it, I could have read those off and we didn't even have to do this. I'm asking you nicely to present to this township of what exactly the businesses are getting from this and what we plan to go forward. And it's another year that we might not have that. So, you know, to say I'm frustrated, yeah, I am. And I just want to see and make sure, especially when we're about to increase in assessment, the businesses are getting their best buck. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I have a few more. I think it's best that we kind of take it, from my perspective, I don't want to take everybody's time. Maybe we'll send some questions to you after. 'Cause I need more data, a little more meat than just running through the numbers.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, do we have any questions from this side?
Yeah.
Please.
What is the total debt service to the town?
Total debt that we have to pay to the town? Yearly, or you mean
Total.
total? What was the bond, was $700,000 bond, I believe.
So 700 plus another 350?
That's what we're,
Yes.
that's what we're asking.
Yes.
So we're looking at $1 million. Okay. Current cash on hand is 250, right? Okay. What does 250 get in terms of a streetscape?
Probably would do half of the
Half of
streetscape.
it.
Half of it, okay. And I promise there's only two more questions. Do you get into your, I'm looking at a contingency fund of 24,000. Do you touch that on a yearly basis?
Rarely.
Rarely,
Never I don't think we've ever touched our contingency.
okay. So that's in addition to the 250 cash on hand?
Correct.
Okay. And my final question, I'm looking at e-commerce, advertising, marketing program, and public events at a total of 103,500. Aside from public events, what is the differentiation in dollars? Because e-commerce, advertising, and marketing are three ways of saying the exact same thing.
Okay, well, but we just split it up, because e-commerce goes to whatever we're doing as far as the Facebook. We do promote a post for spending
Sure.
advertising on those venues. We have our email account that we send out thousands of emails all the time. Advertising, we do advertising in the local Patriot to help
Okay.
support that also.
So that's
To get it out
10,000,
to-
that's 10,000 for the Patriot?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yeah, that's more print advertising. The marketing program is what we pay for the people who do the actual marketing, who they're out there, and they put together the events, and they put together the promotions, and they're out there meeting with all the businesses.
Yeah, the boots on
On
the
a
ground.
weekly-
So the bid, I just want to conceptualize this, the bid hires consultants, for lack of a better word.
Well, they're more of a
Consultants.
company, they're a company.
Okay, the bid hires a company, and the company sits down with business owner A.
Correct.
And they say, how can we get you to do better? And that's the $60,000 spend.
Well, they do, we do a lot of we call them promotions rather than events, because they're not street events. These are promotions that are around town, whether they're contests, whatever they are, they help drive people into the businesses, like the gift card program. But we've done programs like where people have to go in and take pictures when they're in the store, and they send it into Facebook, and then they can win prizes. And believe it or not, people love winning prizes. So we get thousands of people participating in these promotions. But the most important thing is that they're going into the businesses.
Okay.
They're going into the businesses, and they're spending their money there.
Understood. And businesses have reported up.
Yeah, businesses,
Is there data to that effect?
We-
Or is it anecdotal?
We do a
it's more
report every,
anecdotal, but
It's
yeah.
anecdotal,
Right.
okay. Those are my questions.
And I'll tell you, part of the way it's mostly anecdotal is because basically with the businesses, they're mom and pops.
Yeah, they don't-
They don't, so they're basically, I did great, this was a great promotion, I loved it, I got new customers, that's what they tell us. They don't come in and give us exactly the numbers.
Have you ever gotten a negative review?
No. No, not
I
from,
would
since
tell you
we
we
started
do.
the marketing, I haven't heard, maybe other people have heard, but we have not heard, and certainly out there all the time, and our marketing people are out there. And so when they do hear something where a business has a problem, an issue, they bring it back to us. We try to help them deal with it, whether it's with town or with the building department or something like that. We're out there.
That was all I had. Thank you.
My questions. So far, streetscaping has begun. We know that Chaffee's and Dunkin' Donuts, those two sides have been done. Went from the bagel shop to TD, across the street from Keller Williams to the bank. We have not done across the street from Shell, where Little Details is and
corner
so
there,
on.
correct.
And then you have from the bank going to
The dentist.
chiropractic, or where old dance studio was.
Correct, exactly. And then across the street.
My concern is a little simpler than everybody else's, is that I don't know if that's something I'm too interested in doing at this point right now, because most of the people drive into there and drive out of there, and the foot traffic is those stores over there. And when I looked at, what was the old Front and Center, and the chiropractic, and then the heart center, or whatever that is, 99 out of 100 people are driving in there. And I don't know if that's where I would focus the money at this point. So for me, that's my concern, is I see the little details part of it. I agree, that's got to get done. That's my concern with it right now.
Just narrow it down.
Yeah, I know that little section has to be done, because those are great little stores over there, and that continues it. I just question if the foot traffic is there to go anywhere even close to the firehouse,
Traffic
or,
It isn't anywhere along.
No, I know.
We don't have a lot of foot traffic. It's more about a visual thing and.
correct.
updating everything and making it, like, it's not about getting the pedestrians
No.
out there, because we don't have them.
I get, right, I get that.
driving- it's
But that's why I'm just
driving
questioning at this point,
Right.
is that expenditure worth it at that point for?
Can I ask you this question? We got feedback, at least the past year in the vision and all that, of that, the town wanted to see that part done. So that's the thing, that's why we got on it this year, and we said.
Which
okay.
part?
Huh?
The-
The rest of it, the remainder part of it, the part behind the shell and the rest of it.
The part behind the shell, I
Or when are
agree
you
with, yeah.
doing that? We've gotten a lot of feedback about that.
And I do, and I own that, because some of that feedback came from me. And because my thought was, and maybe this is why it's worth a further discussion, because my thought was, you do get the foot traffic from the church and the school and those people coming up to Mountain Avenue. But also, and maybe this is in a larger discussion, that was never on the table until the trees were cut down. So
That's
that
part of
did-
it back then.
Right, so that was a hard no. And this is again, and looking at the budget and going through this, and I don't mean to get into the weeds, but we brought it up. Like, that streetscape project, having a price tag of asking for $350,000, that was something that was a no until the trees came down, and that was only maybe perhaps 2-3 months ago.
Right, well, that part of it was part of it originally, until we got the word that we had to take those trees down to do anything, which was a tremendous amount of money, and, a lot of issues, because for us to take down someone's trees, if the roots are going in and it could break up other things, we said, no, we really can't do that. So that's why it was out.
Engineer, and he was like, it's gonna cost you a lot of money to do.
Oh, no,
It's problematic,
Right.
and we didn't say no.
And it could
We
cause
said,
a
"You
lot
know
of
what?
problems, too, to the property owner there. So we said, no, we'll stay away from that right now. And that's why, until we found out the trees were being taken down, was it the county or the state or
It might
someone?
have been the state, but
Yeah.
it was the owner of that building who made the phone call
Right.
and said, hey, look, at these trees are dying.
Yeah, because
They
we
need to be
said, like, those roots underneath could have been under the foundation. There could have been a lot of issues that we thought were not something we should be getting into.
Can you get us a price of what that would be for that specific section?
That was about
I
$40,000,
think they
I
sectioned
think.
off each location, because we have 3 sections. So we have 3 sections, that's one of them.
Water would have
But we can get you over the.
That was about
Thank you.
$40,000, Chris, but that was when it was being done as part and parcel of a bigger project. So maybe it would be a little bit more. He said it would be more if it wasn't part of the other project.
Okay. Yeah,
So I can get
that's
you
what I
those
would like to
numbers.
hear, is that
So he did.
specifically, and,
Yeah. So if we were to just do that, where it would be 40,000 as part of it, it was still under 100,000, but it was closer to 100,000 just doing it
We
separately.
can have them section off each
Yeah, please.
location, and then you guys can.
We have it
that's what I would
sectioned.
like to see. Thank you.
The prices shocked me, and I just, because they more than doubled. It was a
Well, that's
lot more
why I
money.
question, again, if the cars are just driving over it and over it and over it, and there's really no commerce happening there in terms of people sitting around and having an ice cream or a coffee or whatever, I look at it and I just question what's the bang for the buck
So
there at that point.
this is the thing,
besides for the
if we
visual.
don't do the streetscape project, then our budget goes back to, our rates go back to what it was prior.
No, listen, I'm not saying we can't find something else to do something with, I'm just, that's all.
And I just want to invite anybody who's interested on the township committee would be welcome to come to any of our meetings or monthly meetings. We'd love to have someone come monthly basis.
Can you have them at night? I work
I know.
in New York, and I can't get here.
You make
I
it
met-
at night, I will.
I would come, I'd like to come.
Can't make any
I can't come in,
We're doing Zoom. They're all Zoom meetings. So
Yeah.
if there's any way, the board we can talk about it because we can make some of them in the evening. I don't see that as an issue. They're on Zoom. Either way,
Correct.
what's the difference?
And not only that, that's where we can now share ideas that we're not doing something
Right.
correctly. If you're attending the meetings, then you go, hey,
If we have,
guys, here's what I
it's
see.
supposed to be, we're supposed to have a committee representative as a voting member. So now I have Chris. Chris, I still have you as the representative for this year. But in the state statute, the municipal ordinance, it requires a committee representative to be part of our meeting.
I will second what Rich says. The timing of this at this point right now. 8:30 on a Tuesday morning. I don't know how convenient that is besides for certain store owners that are there at that point.
Well, that's part of it, is that some of our business owners who don't open till 10, so that's.
What do other towns do?
Yeah,
Milburn has a special improvement district. I know, I think everybody does. Does everybody do it in the morning?
Yeah, but that's just something, the board decides. That's the whole thing. It's a board, decisions on when something is, when the meetings are. If the board decides they want to change it, they change it.
Does anyone else have any questions
No.
up here? And just one more time, because the township has been up here a lot, I just want to we had certainly some questions. Just want to open it up to the public for just one more time. Anyone from the public wishing to be heard on this, come up to the microphone, name, address. You'll have 4 minutes. All right, seeing none, I did that. I'm going to make a motion to then, obviously, thank you very much for sharing this with us and coming again. And I want to, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We have a resolution now, 2023-132.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to make I think we have some outstanding questions from the bid that I think we want some things clarified before we move forward on this. I am interested personally in the maintenance. I think we're interested in seeing maybe something being parceled off. I personally don't feel comfortable voting on this tonight until I get some further answers. I think we can follow up in more writing for you guys, so you have them. You don't just have to go off of recollection for tonight. But I'm certainly looking for some answers to my questions and for things being flushed out. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to table.
We have a motion to table. Do I have a second? Second. Is this a roll call, or is this all in favor? Can we have a roll call, please, for
Sure.
the table?
Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber. Yes. Committeeman Laufer,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Mayor Capides.
Yes.
Okay.
And now that it has been tabled, and going off of Deputy Mayor Kaiser's suggestion, do you think a subcommittee would be appropriate at this time for you and someone else to take the lead in terms of speaking about this further for next meeting?
If that's what you would like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Maybe.
You could pick someone, since you could pick someone that just offline, and we can move forward from there.
Sounds good.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, moving on in our agenda, we have the following resolutions for, sorry, Siri. Moving forward, we have resolutions consent agenda. If you'd like one pulled, please let me know as I call them out aloud. 2023-133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion to accept the following resolutions on consent agenda. Resolution 2023-133 through Resolution 2023-140.
Second. Roll call, please.
Second. Okay. Sorry. Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber, Mayor Capides.
Yes. Let's pay some bills.
Okay. Hi, I've been talking all night. I'll make a motion
Talk
to.
too much.
I'll make a motion to adopt the.
Mayor, you set yourself up for that one.
I never heard Linda say anything.
She does draft the agenda. I'm just going to put that out. I'm going to make a motion to adopt the payroll and invoices for the period of April 12th through April 25th, 2023, in the amount of $4,359,626.02.
Second.
Okay.
Roll Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Laufer.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber. Mayor Capides.
Yes.
And so everybody has read it and certainly filed away the March 2023 temporary budget report, the March 2023 temporary pool budget report, the March 2023 revenue report, the March 2023 pool revenue report, and we have another one, Resolution 2023-140, the bond anticipation note. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. And I guess we have no discussion and action items, do we?
No. The CFO would need
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
talk about resolution.
I just
My
want to
apologies.
quickly review the resolution 2023-140 on the bond anticipation note,
Yes.
which there, you will get to, there's correspondence from Rogat McCarthy LLC. Basically, what happened was we had gone out as Mr. Alex Kaiser had mentioned in his budget presentation, we went out for our one-year note, and we're going to be closing on Monday. That note was for $7,165,000. And as you are probably well aware, that interest rates are rising. I'm not even going to bother with my charts. Interest rates are rising. So, but anticipating this, we've been trying to pay down debt so that because we know we're now borrowing at a much higher rate. I think everybody knows from their credit cards how that works. If we go back to even just 2019, before the world ended, interest rates were below a point. Now we're at, when our interest rate we came in at was 4.25. So by being aggressive, that easily can have saved us $100,000 in next year alone. So it was this strategy that has totally helped. It was mentioned before, we paid down $3.6 million. We borrowed additional $890 from last year's bond ordinance. So our total decrease was 2.735. So that it will make a noticeable difference to future budgets when we pay these things down. Our bid was competitive when we went out. We had 4 people that came back. Some years, even in good years, we maybe only had 2. So nothing has changed other than the amount of money we're bonding and how much higher interest rates have gone. So we'd like to, we always keep our eye out on where the market's going and things like that. So I try really hard to look at the town's best interests when we go ahead and make these decisions.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay.
We have the following correspondence, as Ms. Sherry did allude to. Before we open up the public comment, I just one more time would like to sincerely thank the Recreation Department, DPW, our Township Administration team, and the Springfield First Aid Squad for their help and support of the senior room dedication this past Sunday for Margaret Bandrowski. We appreciate their help, support. They went above and beyond, and it was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony and beautiful event, and we thank you all for those who participated, for everything that you've seen you do, and for those things that we didn't see you do to make that day special. Thank you for that, too. With that, I'd like to open up the meeting for public comment on any governmental issue. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 4 minutes which to speak, and that will then be followed by Township Committee comment.
Nope.
Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comments portion of the meeting. Does anyone else have anything up here?
One last thing.
Sure.
One last thing.
No.
No. Hold on. So one of our dearly beloved staff members up here, Linda Donnelly, is a township clerk. One of the oldest professions in the state, I believe, and in local government. And next week is Municipal Clerks Week. It starts May 1st. And is a time to recognize all the municipal clerks throughout the state of New Jersey. But while there are 565 municipalities in the state, I do believe Springfield has the best township clerk. So thank you, Linda, for everything that you do for us and this township And while we're not doing a proclamation, I did find it fitting to recognize you and your profession.
And my deputy.
And your deputy.
And my new assistant, who was sitting inside, Tamara. Can't forget them.
Oh,
Thank you, Linda.
they
Thank you
cannot.
very much.
Thank you.
Next week, we'll have Mayor Capity's crack open a few more cans
Seltzers in your honor.
in the middle.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
It's time to
Second.
celebrate.